How's it going, guys? Well, welcome back to TheBlueShifting and welcome to first of a new series. This is really odd because up until now on this channel, I've never had to worry about having big gaps in between my series. But if you're wondering, if you're here and you're wondering, hey, last time we had a Friday episode, which was 2 weeks ago, it was a Jingaoshi and Daoshi episode, or Jingaosh and Daosh. Like, it's Chinese, and I'm not good with Chinese. But you're like, what the heck are those episodes doing? Well, that's not going to be here. There's a bit of a delay. The third part of that series, like the final set of chapters, is not available yet, and it will be in a couple weeks. But that opened up an interesting opportunity. I could either just kind of twiddle my thumbs because 2 weeks is too short to normally cover a series, or I can cover something different, and that's what we're here today to do. We're going to be looking at a very interesting series that someone sent me in from the creators of C. It's Ratalaika Games. Ratalaika Games. I'm so bad with words. Ratalaika Games. They sent me a free copy of this game. They said, shout out, they said, hey, we like how you handle visual novels on your channel. We have one we're recently publishing on consoles. We would love for you to take a look at it. And that's actually why the perspective here is a little different. If you watch my Persona series, you know that this means we're on the PS4. It's the way my setup works best with the PS4 in this room for recording studio-wise. So this is what we're going to be doing. But most importantly, I want to say thank you to them because they sent me a free copy asking if I was interested. I actually get an alright amount of these requests, like not a ton, but enough, especially for somebody like me whose series goes really slowly. The turnover rate's real slow because I tend to see things through to the end. However, this is going to be a really interesting one because apparently this is a first part of what might be future titles, and it involves a kind of pseudo-murder mystery type thing, as you might be able to guess from the screen here. Now, the game itself is Jisei, which and it's the first chapter. And apparently this one is going to be like the first case. I think it contains story, but like the character is somebody who goes on for other stories, maybe episodic Sherlock Holmes type of series. And we're going to be starting with this first one, especially because it's supposed to be really short. I honestly should be able to cover this within a couple episodes. So it's a great intermittent, so I'm not having a bunch of just empty air on my channel. So this is a bit of a detour, but let's just jump right into it, shall we? I really have no idea about any of this. You keep seeing me looking at my notes. I'm trying to like read names because like this really floated across the table suddenly. It kind of became relevant more quickly than normal. Normally I plan these things out. I do a little bit of research beforehand just to get a general idea of like the publisher and everything, because it's bad enough I can barely pronounce words, but we're going to be jumping right in, so let's get started. I have no clue what to expect. Whoever said that your life flashes before your eyes when you die should be shot. Oh, that sounds like lovely. Then maybe he'd see what it's really like. When you die, there are only two things. The first is the sudden and terrifying realization that you're dying. The second thing is a final wish. But as a person dies, there's always one last thing they wish they could do before they pass on. Sometimes it's as simple as wanting to say goodbye to a loved one, but usually it's a wish full of pain and regret. It's a wish for the life lived better, an angry word taken back, or a promise kept, a wish that will never be granted. Yeah, death sucks. Interesting. The localization seems very approachable so far. Every single time. But I've experienced so many, I'm kind of numb to the whole thing by now. That's not to say I'm comfortable with it, I'm just used to it. After all, experiencing death is the story of my life. Ooh. SakeVisual presents Jisei.
Our song glides the wind, the words echo, falling on deaf ears. The translation is lost and a deep void remains. The song is a mystery, the desperate lyrics are veiled, the wise and cold, but still no resolution. Our voice
Color me freaking intrigued there. Wow. You know what? That was really interesting because like not only was it kind of an entrancing song, but like the overlay of the vocals with like the main like male vocal, which I think is supposed to represent the main character, and then the female vocals, or like there was a male vocal in there somewhere, which I think are supposed to be like the spirits whispering through him, was really well done. That's right there has absolutely caught my interest. It's very fascinating. Oh, ooh, very interesting indeed. All right, well, let's see what more that we have to unravel here. Where am I? I blink slowly, trying to get my bearings. This place doesn't look familiar. Then again, it's been 3 years since anything has looked familiar to me. I yawn as my mind slowly clears. The room I'm in is filled with the scent of freshly ground coffee. I hear something. A machine? Steam? Right. I'm in a coffee shop in a city called Edgewater. It's my second day in this city. Judging from the empty cup on the table in front of me, I stopped here for a coffee because I was getting sleepy. And then I fell asleep. Typical. I guess even triple shot mocha latte isn't enough to keep me up these days. I wonder if I should get another one. Why not? I head over to the counter. No one else is in line since it's still afternoon. The girl at the counter grins as soon as she sees me.
Did you have a nice nap?
Mm-hmm. You saw me?
Don't worry, you weren't snoring or anything. But I'd wipe that drool off your face if I were you.
Oh, gross. What?
I'm kidding. You're fine.
She laughs and winks at me.
So, what can I get for you?
She's either hyper-friendly or she's flirting with you. Either way, I'll score that as a win. She's pretty.
Whoa, are you okay?
Probably not. Yeah.
You look like you want to hurl.
Why am I feeling this now? There shouldn't be any reason.
Hey, if you're not feeling well, the bathrooms are down that hallway.
Yeah, thanks. I grab the counter for support and stumble off in the direction she's pointing. My head is hurting even more now. I'm feeling this sick. That can only mean one thing. Someone has died. As I walk down the hallway, I see the door to the woman's bathroom is wide open. Oh, you're kidding. I wish this was a joke, but the incessant throbbing in my head tells me otherwise. Laying on the floor of the woman's bathroom is a corpse of a woman. I enter the restroom, gagging at the smell of the restroom's flowery perfume and disinfectant. Oh boy. How could someone be stabbed and make no sound? Especially when it's in the chest like that. The knife sticking out of her chest doesn't make me terribly optimistic about what I'm about to do next. I hope she died quickly, otherwise this is going to wind up being very unpleasant. I glance around quickly to make sure no one is looking before I reach forward and touch her arm. Ooh, I brace myself for the sudden pain in my chest, but it never comes. I can't breathe. I try to open my mouth, but it refuses to open. Something's on my face. I want to tear it away, but someone is holding me down. Okay, so smothered, and then stabbed for good measure. I'm going to die, I'm going to die. I only wish that... As I open my eyes, I instinctively gasp for air. I know I wasn't actually suffocating, but it's still a reflex. My brain always remembers the pain of every death I experience, even though none of them are mine. I'm suddenly aware of someone staring at me from the hallway.
What did you do?
A woman is standing behind me, staring in horror at the dead body laying on the restroom floor. Crap. You know, you would think this would happen a lot, and he might have tried to cover his bases a bit better, but... I didn't... Wait! I sigh and hang my head. This isn't gonna end well. Then again, it never does.
Hey, kid, move away from the body.
A man strides briskly down the hallway towards me. His voice's demeanor is sharp, fluid, and commanding. Even without a uniform, it's obvious he's some sort of man of the law. Considering what he's wearing, I'd guess police officer? Sorry, officer. I promise I didn't move anything. He looks surprised.
Officer?
Oh, you're not? Sorry. My dad was a police officer, and you kind of look like him. I mean, you carry yourself the same way.
Your dad was an officer? Which precinct?
He sounds skeptical. Guess I can't blame him. I don't remember. It was a while back when we still lived in Los Angeles. He raises a knowing eyebrow as if it's just caught me in a lie, but it doesn't comment on it.
I see. Well, why don't you come with me?
Sure. I follow the officer back to the main area of the shop. The woman who first saw me is standing by one of the tables looking shaken. Has someone called the police yet? The only other people in the shop are a girl who works here and a guy who looks like he's in college.
Excuse me, everyone. I'd like your attention for a moment. I'm Detective Mikolai Gursky.
The detective pauses for a moment. It looks like he's trying to choose his words carefully.
Unfortunately, a dead body has just been discovered on this premises.
Fetch, man. I wonder, is this protocol? Like, I'm pretty sure the protocol is like setting up, calling it in first. But, you know, I can't fault him. I think his most important thing he wants to prevent anyone who's currently in the building from leaving. Although you'd think anybody who had done such a thing would have immediately left.
What? But how? I mean, who?
We actually have a decent alibi. We were sleeping in the front room for quite a while.
Unfortunately, I don't know anything about the situation yet. Because of this, I'm going to have to ask you all to stay here until the police come.
Right. That makes sense.
Until they come? You mean the police aren't here yet? What about you?
I'm technically not on duty right now, I just happen to be here.
I see.
If you don't mind, I'd like to speak with each of you separately for just a little bit. It'll help move the investigation along if I can start collecting information now. Is that okay?
Yes, and it's important because the fresher the details are in people's minds, the more likely they'll be honest and truthful. It's a double-edged sword there, because if they're choosing to deceive you, obviously that's a problem. But it can be helpful because if they're panicking, like as in they haven't had time to really think things through yet, they're more likely to get caught in a lie. And then point number 2 being that when you are, even as time passes, your mind muddles things. It's not going to be as accurate, and it can cause problems. Like, people have actually misremembered. There's a really interesting studies that have been done to talk about how, like, people are actually more likely to describe, like, if people witness a crime, like they see it happen, like very clearly, they're actually more likely to describe the perpetrator as somebody they recently saw acting violently in a movie rather than the actual description of the person. Because our brain, especially when we're desperate to try and remember things, tends to fill in details we can't recall with something that's similar to it. So even interviewing witnesses can be challenging just because people unknowingly are shifting the truth.
Sure, anything to help.
Yeah, it's okay with me.
Yes, it's fine.
What about you, kid?
It's fine with me.
Right. Then we'll start with you. Come with me, please.
Okay. Detective Gruski motions for me to follow him in the hallway away from the rest of the coffee shop. As we walk down the hallway, I can't help but stare at the body in the bathroom. Detective Gruski glances at me and gently kicks the door of the bathroom. It swings in and bounces gently off the wall, closing with a soft thud.
How are you feeling?
Fine, I guess.
You just saw a dead body and you're fine?
He frowns at me.
Never mind. Let's just start with your name.
I'd rather not say. Come on. I mean, that's only going to make you look suspicious.
Why not?
Because I'd rather not.
An officer of the law is asking you a question.
An off-duty officer, technically. Then I plead the 5th.
The Fifth Amendment is only applicable to testifying under oath in a court of law or other tribunal.
Yeah, but you also aren't doing it. Yeah, that's a fallacy right there. Because yes, that's technically correct, but that means that this is not a formal interview, and thus anything he says wouldn't be admissible in court anyway. If he's going to go the route where he's claiming to go down as an officer, then anything he currently hears from this kid would not be verifiable. So by holding back his name, he actually might be doing himself a favor. Then I invoke my Miranda rights. Detective Gruski stares at me impassively. Try to tell whether he's thinking or I doubt he's pleased. Exactly. He needs to read his Miranda rights, and then it's formally an interview, and then he can claim the 5th. And then he can say, like, well, I don't want to say anything until I have a lawyer present, effectively. It's very good advice. You never want to incriminate yourself. Maybe that's what it is. If our main character's been in enough situations like this, then it warrants protecting himself. Even if he's pretty sure he can't be framed for anything, it's better to take the safe approach. It makes you look more suspicious, and the cops will absolutely dig after you for it, unfortunately, because police officers are also kind of biased. And there's a lot talking about police and like stuff that they're human. That's ultimately the thing. There are people who are in police force who probably shouldn't be, but even the most genuine police officers who just want to do what's right are going to make mistakes because they're human. And so protections like Miranda rights, like the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution, just basic interview and the right to have a lawyer, these are things that are set in protection. They're trying to help you. If you don't take advantage of them, then you might find yourself falling on the wrong side of things, even if you didn't do anything wrong. It's hard to tell what he's thinking, but I doubt he's pleased.
Fine, no name then. Why don't you tell me what happened today?
Well, again, this is not a formal interview, then why if you're not willing to give me the rights, then why should I even talk to you? You mean about what I found in the body?
Anything you think is pertinent.
Well, I came in here around noon today, ordered a coffee, drank it, then fell asleep.
You fell asleep after you drank a triple shot mocha latte?
I'm tired. How do you know what I drank? Detective Grisky nods at the empty cup on the table where I was sleeping.
Saw you snoozing when I came in. The mocha latte checkbox is checked off on the side of the cup, and the maroon sleeve around the cup is only used for triple shots.
I would expect a detective to pick up on details like that, that's true. Although it's weird that they would give a different sleeve for different shots. I don't know. I ran a little cafe in a high school. I don't think we did things very formally, and I don't know. I don't drink coffee, so...
I am a detective, you know.
And a serious one at that. He's even reading my drinks when he's off duty. Well, to be fair, to be a good detective, it's a person. It's a personality more than anything else. It's not just a job. Well, I woke up about 10 minutes ago, I guess maybe less. Krisky glanced at the clock on the wall.
So around 2:40, you'd say?
I guess so. I was just about to get another drink when I suddenly started to feel sick.
Ah, yes. I did see you looking a little ill when you were at the counter.
The girl at the counter told me I should go to the bathroom, and when I went, I saw the body lying there.
What were you doing in the women's bathroom?
The door was already open. I saw her from the hallway.
Did you touch her?
Even if I say no, they'll probably find my prints on her anyway. Yes.
And why were you touching her?
To see if she was alive. I wanted to see if she was okay. I didn't know she was dead at the time. The detective nods understandingly, but I doubt he believes me. Well, I mean, he probably doubts you, but at the same time, people behave strangely. You might think it's weird, like, she had a dagger plunge in her chest, of course she was dead, but no, people can still be alive, and you can still try to help them. By the way, if someone is stabbed with something and they are alive, you do not remove it. You could be killing them by doing that. Like, sometimes, ironically, knife wounds and things puncturing the body are actually holding they're pinching or compressing arteries, veins, and other, like, sources of blood, like maybe in organs, and that pressure is actually keeping them from bleeding out right away. So you never remove anything unless you are professional and, like, you know what you're doing, or you have professionals there and they know what they're doing and they do it. You don't do it yourself. Like, it's actually to the point where, like, if you, like, can try to move them, like, if you have to, don't try to move them, but if you have to, you wrap around the item and put pressure around the item and still don't remove it unless you absolutely have to. Any idiot could have seen the knife in that woman's chest from at least 10 feet away. Okay, the other point I was trying to make is the fact that most people are not rational when they see things like this. Their brain cannot understand it's not real. So if it's their first time ever seeing a murder scene, you very much might go over and try and shake them or talk to them or touch them, trying to understand what's going on, because part of your brain probably won't understand rationally what's happening and won't think things through. It's perfectly reasonable, and it happens. So the detective might be a little skeptical because he's trying to look for something off about testimonies, but his testimony about going and touching her to see if she's okay is not too far off.
Is there anything else you'd like to say?
There's something weird about all this. Maybe I should keep that to myself for now. We don't know anything. We could implicate ourselves, but the thing is that, here's the thing. There's no real case for us. Like, we don't know how old the corpse is per se, but it's unlikely that when we have a testimony, so, like, we came into the coffee shop, we ordered coffee, we sat down, we drank it, and then we fell asleep. We have an alibi. We have the person at the counter who was pretty much aware of that. I would say there's something suspicious because our power let us know that she asphyxiated to death. She was covered and pressed and she suffocated. Then she was stabbed. So there would be clues to that. For instance, if she was dead when she was stabbed, there actually wouldn't be that much bleeding, and the bleeding would be pooling, not gushing. And I think that's something we saw. There was no pool of blood. There wasn't, like, blood stains or anything like that. Then again, the knife was still in the wound, so maybe that could be accounted for. But there would be signs of asphyxiation. A covered object on the face is harder to see than, like, you know, choke marks. But especially at the autopsy, there would be signs of it. So maybe it wouldn't make us a little less suspicious now, but in the grand scheme of things, it might. I think there's something suspicious about this death.
There's a dead woman with a knife in her chest. Suspicious goes without saying. But what makes you think this is suspicious?
Just a gut feeling.
I see. Anything else?
No.
Then please wait in the main area.
Sure. Detective Gruski follows me and turns to the rest of the people in the coffee shop.
Would anyone like to go next?
I'll go.
The woman raises her hand timidly, and Detective Gruski nods at her. See, if I'm gonna pick anyone I think is suspicious, it's actually her, because I think she might be really eager to pin it on us. Makes me think that she's looking for an alibi herself.
Then follow me.
I sit down on one of the chairs and close my eyes. This doesn't make any sense. The woman in the restroom had a knife in her chest, no doubt. But in my vision, she was being suffocated. Then again, my vision did cut off right before it finished. That woman interrupted me. I wish I could read the body again, but I'm sure if I get caught if I even try to get close to the body. Somehow, it doesn't really seem worth the risk. Guess I'll have to approach this from a different angle. See, I think she might be involved because I think she was waiting to see who would go to the bathroom. And when he did, he didn't respond right away, she went back to, like see what was going on, you know? It's like she's paranoid. I guess I'll have to approach it from a different angle. Let's examine the room. Let's first get a snapshot of what's going on here. The cafe is small and clean with a series of paintings on the wall and a display featuring this expensive bags of coffee. This to the side, there's the hallway that leads to the bathrooms. There's also a kitchen in the back, but I can't see it from here. Okay. Move. I should probably stay put for now. I doubt Detective Gruski wants me to wander off or bother him. Okay, well, then we'll talk. Oh, I could pick between the two. I want to talk to Coffee Girl first. The girl who works at the shop is sitting a few tables away from me, staring at the ground. She looks up and notices that I'm looking in her direction.
Surreal, isn't it?
Huh?
Knowing you're in the same building as a dead body, I mean.
I wouldn't honestly be able to believe it unless I saw it. I'd be like, okay. She smiles apologetically at me.
By the way, my name's Chance.
Hey, Chance. Chance, that sounds like such a fake name. What should I ask? You have a rather unusual name.
I get that a lot. The truth is, I changed my name. My parents named me Bertha.
To be fair, I would change it too.
That's not exactly a good name for a famous singer.
You're a famous singer.
Not yet, but I want to be. I know it's a crazy dream, but I'm willing to take the chance.
I mean, kudos for you, but it seems kind of odd.
That's why I chose that name. Get it? Chance? I'm pretty cheesy, huh?
Right. Maybe not cheesy, but I think the name Bertha actually means famous. So really, you had a good name in the first place.
Really? I didn't know that. You're pretty smart.
Not particularly. I just like to pay attention to names and what they mean.
That's cool. I know someone just like you.
I seriously doubt that. Do you know anything about the woman who died? See, that's the thing. Like, it makes a lot more sense to, like, just have a disarming conversation about a person. Ask them about them. Help them get relaxed. And then look for information. Do you know anything about the woman who died?
Nothing comes to mind. I saw her go to the bathroom earlier, but I wasn't paying attention. Still, I think I would have recognized her if she was someone I knew.
Do you remember what time you saw her?
Maybe around 2 o'clock? I'm not sure.
And the officer saw us. It said 2:40 about when we went to the bathroom. So, not sure about that, but a 40-minute gap between her. So, did no one else go to the bathroom between that two time period? That's a long time for someone to be lying in there undisturbed and undiscovered. What makes you think it was 2?
Well, my shift starts around then, and she came in a little bit after I did.
Starts around then? Didn't your shift start at a precise time?
She looked like a secretary, so I thought it was weird that she'd come during working hours.
I see. You think the killer's still around?
I sure hope not.
Chance shivers.
I don't know why he'd stick around anyway. Doesn't a murderer usually run after he kills someone?
That's a presumption of gender, but I'll pass it for now. Good point.
I hope I'm not interrupting anything.
Detective Gruski approaches us. The woman who's speaking with trails closely behind him. Here's the thing. I think a detective would be like, detectives will actually tell police and detectives especially will tell people at a crime scene not to talk to each other. Because if potential witnesses corroborate, they end up telling each other things and they'll actually respond to each other's like statements, like to try and sound credible, and it can actually muddle up like an actual testimony. Because if people are corroborating, then they take it as fact, but it might not be a fact if people have been sharing facts together and then just assuming that they're all right about it. As soon as she sees me, she quickly looks away.
Nope, not interrupting anything.
Then do you mind coming with me?
Not at all.
Chance waves at me before hurrying off to Detective Gruski. About earlier.
Don't touch me.
The woman glares at me, her eyes laced with disgust.
I saw what you did.
I didn't do anything. I found her like that. The woman frowns at me.
Just don't speak to me.
She sits down and folds her arms, glaring at me from across the room. I guess I should leave her alone. Yeah, she seems really quick to tell us that she knows what we did. Unless she knows about our powers, we were touching her arm. She didn't see us stab her. But if she's claiming that, we could be in a bit of trouble initially, at least going off her interrogation. Across the room, the college boy is typing away at his laptop. He pauses to glance at a pile of notes on the table next to him. He's still doing homework at a time like this? He's probably a writer, actually. He looks up and we briefly make eye contact.
Is something wrong?
Not really. You just look really calm, all things considered. Well, so are we. He glances up to the side nervously.
Actually, I'm pretty freaked out.
Good. You should be. Fetch, man. This is terrifying.
But it hasn't really set in, you know? Part of me is hoping this is all just a hidden camera show or something.
That would be nice. Or some stupid YouTube prank. It would be a lot nicer if that were the case.
I'm sorry. You're the one who found the body, right?
Yeah. He's silent for a moment.
Is it scary? Seeing a dead body, I mean.
I guess most people would be pretty terrified to see a dead body, especially one that's obviously been murdered. Yeah.
You look pretty calm too, you know?
Oh, I guess I do.
My name's Kizaki. What about you?
I'd rather not. Kizaki blinks and stares off in the distance for a moment, then he looks like he's spacing out. Are you okay?
Huh? Oh yeah, I'm fine.
He laughs nervously before smiling warmly at me.
It's okay if you don't want to say your name.
Let's see. So what are you doing here anyway?
Studying.
He nods at the pile of paper scattered across the table.
I have an exam soon and I come here a lot since it's a quiet place with no distractions.
Until today. And she
So much
sighs.
for that.
Yeah. If he has an exam, he's probably in college after all. Are you in college? Or what's the exam on? That actually might be a more telling question because he's probably in college. What's the exam on?
Huh?
I glance at the paper scattered across the table. They're covered in notes written in Japanese. Japanese?
Yeah, Japanese.
No, that doesn't sound right. He doesn't sound terribly confident. So that's an interesting little, like, Japanese. He's writing in Japanese. His name actually could be Japanese, but that doesn't mean anything because he could just, you know, have relations in Japan, or like his family could have been from Japan, but he's native to America at this point, so like it would mean nothing. But he's writing in Japanese and he seems dodgy about it. That could mean something, but that's a small little thing to notice. Can you remember anything about the woman who died?
I'm afraid I was pretty caught up in my work. I didn't really notice much about anyone else.
Nothing at all.
Well, I think she may have been looking for someone. When she came in, she looked around a bit like she was expecting to see someone. I remember wondering if she was looking for you, and you just didn't notice her because you were asleep.
Possible, but I mean, okay, how long were we sleeping for? Because it seems like we might have been asleep since before all this even happened. Wow, is there anyone in the coffee shop who didn't watch me sleep? Do you think the killer's still here? Kazaki suddenly turns pale.
Killer? I thought she died from a heart attack or something. Oh no, this is even worse.
He looks like he's about to start crying. Whoa.
What if the murderer is still here? What if we're all going to be picked off one by one until there's no one left?
That would be ridiculous. I really don't think that's the case. Besides, it's not as if we're trapped on a remote island or anything. I point to Kizaki's laptop. You're even connected to the internet.
Oh yeah.
Okay, you acted a little suspicious, but either you're a really good actor or there's no way you could be a killer. He suddenly looks a lot more relieved.
I guess I overreacted.
No kidding.
But it's still really creepy to think that someone was killed here. I hope that detective figures it out soon.
Yeah.
Your turn, kid.
Kizaki looks up surprised.
Oh, right.
He quickly shuffles a few of his notes around in a neat pile before he stands up. Out of the corner of my eye, I see a woman from earlier still glaring at me. Hey.
I thought I told you not to speak to me.
Listen, I don't know what you thought you saw, but the woman was already dead when I found her.
Don't take me for a fool.
I want to be reasonable with her, but she's being so difficult. If you just thought about it, you wouldn't think that. If I actually had killed the woman, don't you think I'd have tried to stop you, or at least run away? Ooh, interesting. So I got an achievement there for not kicking the hornet's nest. I don't know. Last thing I should be doing is getting in a shouting match. That could be really bad. Instead, I waited around and even spoke with that detective. She doesn't respond. Really? You're gonna discount me just like that?
Fine, I'll bite. What's your side of the story?
I already told you. I found her like that.
That's nice. Now don't talk to me.
You don't believe me.
Sure don't. If you can actually show me proof, then maybe I'll listen to you.
Interrogating him yourself, Miss Bergstrom?
Detective Gursky approaches us with a hint of a smile on his lips. It's hard to tell if he's actually amused or just hiding his annoyance.
He wanted to talk to me.
If you don't mind, I'd like to speak with him.
Sure, do as you please.
He shrugs and walks away. No, she shrugs. Sorry, my bad. I follow Detective Gursky off to the side.
Are you sure talking with your main accuser was really a good idea?
What?
You do realize that she's convinced you're the murderer, right? Acting like that only makes you look more suspicious.
Well, yeah, well...
And I have to be honest, a lot of the evidence points towards you already. You were the first at the scene, and you even admitted to touching the body. There's not much that votes for your innocence.
Except for the fact that I was sleeping. But all that evidence you have is only circumstantial.
I can hold you for 48 hours before charging you with a crime. That's enough time to find more evidence.
And that's fine, but just make sure you hold everyone else, too. Sometimes I hate the law. That law. Well, it makes sense, honestly. They can't hold you because they might want to keep you from, I don't know, fleeing the state. That is a concern. I know, but I didn't do it.
If you really want me to believe you, you're going to have to be a lot more cooperative. Obviously, you're interested in clearing your name, whatever it may be.
Yeah, that's the thing, too. This is something cops will do, and it's actually, it's about applying pressure, and they want to do it so they can try and get quick results. But you have to be on guard for it, because you're going to be stressed out if you're ever in a bad situation. They are going to try and manipulate you to make you think that, well, you're acting suspicious. That's okay. You can act suspicious. They can even try and put handcuffs on you and take you downtown. It sucks, but that's not actually you in trouble yet. You're in trouble if you say something, especially under oath, that you cannot take back. But right now, like I said, we're not under oath. If he tries to take a statement from us, it's problematic at best. But police officers will still try and talk to you without getting you under oath, because then they can try and they can deceive you. They can pressure you in ways that they can't be reported on either, because you're not under oath. You can't prove that they did that. And they're going to want to try and get you to say something that can lead them to proof you did it, which is really what they're after. They're after not a statement. If they're not have you under Miranda rights, they're not looking for a statement. They're looking to try and get you to admit something that they can then tie you to the crime scene. Because if they can tie you with actual evidence, then they can arrest you and they can do the investigation at their leisure rather than having to get 48 hours. Interesting. We're doing true crime type of how to get out of the law problems here. But to be fair, recent events have proven that if you're not paying attention, if you're not up to speed, if you're not working on your own defense, you can easily get snatched up into a problem that has nothing to do with you and gets escalated beyond your control. It's a sad state we live in today.
It works better if you work with me, not against me.
Well, then put yourself under oath. Protect me and you. You want my help. He frowns.
Not particularly, but I don't have many options right now. I could tell you to sit this out and let the professionals handle this, but then you just go behind my back.
We kind of already have.
I'd rather have you where I can keep an eye on you. So I'll let you talk around, but you have to tell me everything you learn. And for the record, this isn't a free pass to conduct your own investigation. I'm only saying you can talk with the others.
Right.
Got it?
Got it. Well, it looks like I have a little bit of slack for now, but even if he says that, it's not like he's giving me any useful information to go off. Let's see. I want to move. Hallway. As I head toward the hallway, I can hear Detective Gursky speaking on the phone with someone.
According to her ID badge, her name is Sarah Blackmore. She works for a nearby company called BioDev Imaging.
Interesting. BioDev Imaging would be like, that would probably be like a Biocorp lab. So they would probably focus on X-rays, sonar, maybe even CAT scan, ultrasound, that type of thing. I peer around the corner to get a better look. He doesn't look very pleased. Alright. What could be driving people to murder? Typically, the culprits are money, family, and money. So she works for an imaging company, a medical imaging company. Like I said, ultrasound is likely one of their premier things, like MRI too, but so ultrasound. What could you learn from ultrasound that could make you want to kill somebody? Pregnancy. Pregnancy out of wedlock for a very powerful person, perhaps. Or a revenge, a cheating husband who gets another person pregnant and says that he wants to leave his current spouse or partner to be with the other woman. That could be a revenge, very emotional. However, this murder also seems calculated. A purposely smothering of somebody and then stabbing of them. It's planned. You don't just do that out of whimsy. And plus, where'd that knife come from? I don't even think a typical coffee shop would have a big knife like that just on hand. So this seems planned, which means premeditated, which means motivation. And plus, Sarah was looking for somebody when she got here. Probably met them in the bathroom or got cornered in the bathroom somehow. Perhaps was even asked to go there to talk privately. Again, that's starting to paint a picture of a potential woman being the culprit here. Because a woman could go in and out of the bathroom without really being noticed or questioned, A guy like us being in the bathroom even for a few seconds has already put a target on us. I peer around the corner to get a better look at it. He doesn't look very pleased.
I really can't be sure. When will the crime scene investigators get down here? I see. Well, get here as soon as possible then.
Yeah, they better. Fetch, it's a live crime scene. Why aren't they there now? He hangs up before letting out a frustrated sigh. As he does, he sees me looking at him.
Whoa, how long have you been there? How much of that conversation did you hear?
Enough. Oh boy. The part about Sarah and body dev imaging. I mean, here's the thing. Kaiki said, I don't want to incriminate myself. But knowing what I overhear is I think is important because he'll already suspect, I know, so I might as well confirm it. The part about Sarah and biodev imaging?
So, pretty much everything then.
I guess so.
And do you have anything useful to tell me?
Jan says she saw Sarah come in around 2 o'clock. Jan says she saw Sarah come in around 2 o'clock.
Interesting. So, Sarah must have been killed sometime between 2 o'clock and 2:40.
Yep.
The first thing to do is see if anyone has an alibi for that time period then.
Alright, that's all for now. I don't really have any more I can tell you.
I see.
Alright, so we're gonna move again. Well, I want to examine real quick. There are a couple of trending paintings hanging on the wall. The only other things in the hallway are me and Detective Gursky. Alright, we're gonna move. Oh, lots more here. Okay. Can we go to the ladies' restroom? That'd be really nice. I don't think I'm allowed to go in there with a dead body. Okay, move. Let's go to the men's restroom. Alright, let's examine. Looks like the women's restroom, well, except for the dead body. Actually, it looks like there's an emergency exit in here, too. It's the kind that only opens from the inside. Bet the killer could have slipped out through here without being seen by anybody in the coffee shop. That doesn't bode well. But would it set an alarm off is the question. Okay, hallway. Now we can go to the main area. We're going to talk to some people again because now we need to see alibis between 2 and 240, like he said. Alright, first off, easiest girl to probably clear is Coffee Girl. A chance to notice me looking at her, she giggles and waves at me.
How's it going?
You're very cheerful. You got changed.
Yeah, I called my manager and he said I should close for the day, so there's really no point in wearing my uniform anymore.
Maybe.
But never mind that. How did it go?
How did what go?
Talking with that detective, of course. Did he say anything?
Nothing in particular. He just wanted me to not to bother him.
What do you mean by bothering him?
Beats me. So, because I telling people, oh, by the way, anything you say I'm going to tell directly to the detective just sounds like a terrible idea. So, do you know anyone named Sarah Blackmore? Do you know anyone named Sarah Blackmore?
I'm sorry, I'm really bad with names.
I'm bad with names
Even if I did know her, I probably couldn't tell you.
If you haven't noticed from my horrific intro to this video, I'm terrible with names too. That's what I thought. What were you doing between 2 and 2:40?
Working, of course.
Makes sense.
Afternoons like this are always slow, so it's usually just me and the manager.
Where is the manager?
Although my manager is currently out at the store.
Why did your manager go to the store?
We ran out of soy milk. I forgot to restock yesterday and he kinda got mad at me. I had to come out here and clean all the espresso machines as punishment.
Interesting. So, he orders her out into the front with busy work, where he knows that she will be busy for a while because he's mad and she doesn't want to like get on the bad side. And then he vanishes afterwards. He might be an interesting one to think about. So what do you think of Mr. Bergstrom? What do you think? Anything suspicious about Miss Bergstrom?
You mean that woman who looks like she's mad at you?
Yeah, her.
Well, she definitely looked like she was in a hurry. Then again, she always does.
She comes here often.
All the time. And she always looks like she's in a hurry. I guess she's a busy woman.
You remind me of Mayuri. Sweet, but maybe not the most observant. What about Kizaki? Do you notice anything suspicious about Kizaki?
Who?
The college kid.
Oh, is that his name? I've never seen him before.
Really? He said he comes here all the time.
He does? I'm pretty sure I haven't seen him before. Maybe he usually comes at some other time?
Alright, so Kizaki, why are you being so spish, man? Why are you being so spish? Like, you really, like, maybe he's just a really good actor, because he really rubbed me like nah, he's good. Yeah, maybe.
But I don't recall him doing anything weird. He came in, set up, and spent all his time working on homework.
Wait, do you know what Miss Bergstrom does for a living?
I'm pretty sure she works for Biodev Imaging. It's just down the street, so a lot of people who work there like to come by here.
Interesting.
I'm afraid I don't know exactly what she does, though.
Biodev Imaging, the victim, Sarah, worked there too. It can't be a coincidence. There's a link, better link than me and her, the victim, so that's a good point. I guess that's all I want to talk about for now.
Talk to you later, then.
Yeah, you turn out not to be a murderer. I might ask for your phone number. Alright, Kizaki. What's the deal? Why are you suspicious? I look over at Kizaki. He's typing away his computer. I guess even being at the scene of a murder is an excuse to turn in his homework late. No. It must be very imperative, because that seems weird too. Oh, there's this weird everywhere.
Is everything okay?
Yeah, it's fine.
It looked like Detective Gursky was lecturing you about something. He's a pretty imposing guy.
Is he? Seemed like to me that he's just doing his job.
I guess I'm just worried he's gonna arrest me or something.
Arrest him? Yeah, this kid's paranoid. He's hiding something. Does he have a reason to arrest you?
What? No, of course not! I was just saying.
His face flushes red, as if he's terribly embarrassed to even think about being arrested. Okay, though he might have a problem too, because if he is naturally born in Japan, like if he's a Japanese national who is maybe coming over here to study, That could explain why all his notes are in Japanese. It doesn't explain why he's so dodgy about him studying Japanese. Maybe he's studying English or something, but he writes all his notes in Japanese because that's his native language. That would make sense to me. And if he is over here on a study visa, for instance, and he gets arrested, even if he's completely guilt-free, he likely can say goodbye to his visa. So getting caught up in any kind of trial, any kind of problem with the legal system could be the end of his studies in America, regardless of whether he's innocent or not. That could explain a lot of his nerves. He must be one of those good kids who's always followed the rules and never gets in trouble. Enviable. Alright. Do you know anyone by the name of Sarah Blackmore?
Sarah? No, I don't think I do.
Wow, that's quite possibly the most guilty reaction I've ever seen. This guy would be terrible at poker. What were you doing between 2 o'clock and 2:40?
Studying, mostly.
Mostly?
I was also chatting with a friend online.
Ah.
Sometimes I get distracted.
Do you know anything suspicious about Miss Bergstrom?
I'm afraid I didn't see her come in. I was busy working at the time. I didn't notice anything until I heard her scream.
But you sound familiar with her too. I wonder if he works over that building as well. Do you know anything suspicious about Chance?
The girl who works here? She wouldn't do anything.
Are you sure?
Of course, she works here after all.
That didn't answer my question.
Well, if you're wondering if I saw her do anything weird, I didn't. She was cleaning the espresso machines for a while. She didn't look too happy about that.
Well, that was a punishment. That makes sense. Kizaki, are you perchance a kind of stalker? If that's the case, though, Chance, she says she doesn't recognize him. He seems to be very familiar with her, though. That's odd, isn't it?
Then she went into the back kitchen, so I didn't see her anymore.
She didn't mention going into the kitchen. If she were in the kitchen, she could have gone to the bathroom without you seeing her, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
That's all for now. So, we have a bit of a breach here, because we don't know exactly the time period, but Chance's alibi was that she was cleaning in the front from 2 to 2:40, and thus she couldn't have been back there. But we just heard from him that Chance did go into the back, so she doesn't actually have an alibi.
Cool.
Alright. Okay, crazy. Miss Bergstrom is still across the room, from me brooding. Oh boy, this isn't going to be easy. She wasn't willing to give me the benefit of the doubt earlier at all. I approached her carefully, holding my hands out in an attempt to show her I mean her no harm. Hey.
What do you want?
I just want to talk. Try and figure out what happened. She doesn't look convinced. Look, there are other people here too. Nothing's going to be happening to you. I just want to ask a few questions.
Why are you even doing this?
Why the matter's complicated. How do I explain it? I want to prove I'm innocent. I mean, that's the best way to say. I want to prove well, at the same time, that might sound selfish. But if I say I want to find the killer, she's going to be like, well, why are you talking to me then? I want to prove I'm innocent. I'm almost silent. She lets out a laugh. Long sigh. Sorry.
I guess it's okay then. What do you want to know?
Alright. Do you know anyone by the name of Sarah Blackmore?
I can't say I do. Should I?
Yes. She works in the building you work in. That staff, probably. Especially if it's an imaging company, the staff can't be more than 40 people. That seems odd. Do you know anything suspicious about Kizaki?
I assume you mean that boy over there? He hasn't done anything that seems out of the ordinary. I can't really say one way or another, though.
What about Chance? Do you know anything suspicious about Chance?
That barista? She's a sweet girl. If not a little unrealistic. She'll talk about her dream of being a singer to anyone who will listen. She often gets livid when anyone says anything that doesn't coincide with her dream. But she's very cheerful otherwise.
Doubt that's a motive for murder, so... livid.
She once tossed hot coffee at a customer for insulting her voice.
Okay, that's a little extreme.
He only got a few burns on his arm, but I'm pretty sure she was aiming for his face.
That's a lawsuit. Even the arm burns. Like, that was a bold move. I'm surprised she's still working here. And she didn't get fired for that?
The whole thing was settled out of court, and the owner of this place is her father, so naturally she gotta keep her job.
Why didn't she mention that when I said, like, when she talks about her owner, she just said the owner, not her dad?
Honestly, kids these days just get everything handed to them on a silver platter. It's wholly frustrating.
You don't look like you're older than 30. Maybe I'm just a misjudgment of your character, but you don't seem old enough to be able to say things kids these days. Alright, what were you doing between 2 and 2:40?
Around 2, I think I was finishing up some work in the office. Then I headed out for a late lunch. I usually grab a sandwich and an espresso from this place.
Were you with anyone else at the time?
Of course not. Everyone else had already left for lunch.
What did you order when you got here?
Nothing. I went straight to the restroom, and then I saw you.
So what were you doing between 2 and 2:40? Why did you just head straight to the bathroom instead of ordering?
I always wash my hands first. It's filthy to do anything else, and I can't exactly afford to be ill.
Still, gaping hole her alibi. At least Chance pretended that she had an alibi. Yeah, you know what? If anyone has an alibi, it's me, because I was sleeping. That's all I need for now.
I hope it helped.
It did. It helped explain the fact that all of you were terrible at this. Alright. Small but comfortable with nice lighting, clean atmosphere. Alright, we're gonna go to the hallway and report what we found. Is there anyone else that died? At first I was thinking I was gonna have something else here. Alright, let's see. First things first, nobody here has a full alibi. Nobody here has a full alibi. Chance and Kizaki both saw each other for a while, but Chance was in the back kitchen around the time of the murder. She could have slipped away without being seen, or Kizaki could have gone past the kitchen without her noticing. Miss Bergstrom claims she was working at the time, but there's no way to corroborate her story.
So all of them had an opportunity. But what about a means and a motive?
Yeah, because literally, so many people can have opportunity.
We need to figure out why someone would want Sarah dead in the first place.
Alright, let's see. Yeah, there's a lot. Like, this is, like, I'm glad I was picking up on a lot of these on my own. So let's see, the first thing I want to say is, like, did you know there's an emergency exit in the men's room?
Yeah, I noticed that. There isn't an alarm on the door either, so it's possible that the murderer escaped through there without being detected.
Which would really put a cramp in our style. Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
If the murderer did go through there, he or she was probably the last person who passed through. It's possible that there was some evidence left behind in there.
Ooh. Okay. I want to go check that out, but I'm gonna go finish this first. Okay. Yeah, Miss Bergstrom worked for BioDev Imaging. Miss Bergstrom works for BioDev Imaging. Chance told me that a lot of people who work there like to come here to eat.
Do you know what Miss Bergstrom does at BioDev Imaging?
No.
It probably wouldn't hurt to ask her.
Let's see. No one, let's see, yeah, Kizaki says he comes here all the time, but Chance claims she's never seen him.
Do you think he's lying?
I don't know. He seems honest enough, but he could very well be pretending.
Why don't you test him then? If he really comes here often, he'll be able to answer questions about this place without any problems.
Right, so I should probably look at the menu. I guess so. Chance has some pretty explosive anger issues. But again, this crime seems premeditated. I think the fact that Chance does seem to be a bit more of a volatile person is starting for me to make me think, like, seriously that she didn't do this. I mean, she could have planned a murder, but she seems impulsive, and impulsive people are poor at planning murders. Chance has some pretty explosive anger issues. She tried to burn a guy with hot coffee once because he insulted her voice.
Really? I'd hate to be that guy. Still, one act of violence doesn't make her a murderer. It might be worth looking into it, though, if you can find a way to be tactful about it.
Right. And no one here recognizes the name of Sarah Blackmore.
Well, naturally the killer is going to deny knowing her, but if no one here seems to recognize her, she probably didn't want to be known. I wonder what she was hiding.
Alright, I want to go examine some stuff. Don't really have any more I could tell you.
I see.
Okay. How long have I been going? Okay, we're going to wrap up here pretty soon, so I'm going to focus on the men's restroom. Examine the room. I look under the counter and dig around through the trash. Hello. There's a lot of duct tape in here. It looks like there's a bit of red paint smudged on one of the pieces. At least, I think that's red tape. There's also a brown smudge on it, too. I better not touch any of this. If I leave any fingerprints on it, I'm sunk. Bathroom surprisingly clean. Pile of duct tape in the trash can. Okay. That's definitely telling. I'm guessing I can't, but I'm gonna try. Yeah, I can't go in there. Alright, so now we're gonna go to the main area and talk with people again. Head back to the main area to investigate some more, but as I do, I hear a strange voice echoing through the hallway.
Hey, detective, you should really watch your step.
Whoa, what the? Who are you? I spin around looking for the source of the voice, but I didn't see anyone talking or even looking in my direction.
I'm here to help, but before you ask, I can't hear you, so don't bother trying to say anything.
The voice seems to be coming from inside my head. Yeah, but you can't hear me? That makes communication rather difficult now, doesn't it?
Of course, since I can't hear you, that makes communication rather difficult.
Right, never mind.
I know you're different from other people. You can see things that others can't. That means we're alike.
What a twist this is. Alike? Yeah, right. I don't go around randomly speaking inside other people's heads.
There's a lot more going on here than just a simple murder. Watch your step and trust no one.
Oh, that throws a wrench in things.
I'll tell you more as soon as I know it.
I wait for a few seconds, but the voice is gone. No one else seems to have heard it, so I guess that really was all in my head. This is getting a bit more troublesome by the minute. First, I'm accused of murder, and now some random person is dropping thoughts in my head. Or, hey, maybe I'm just going crazy. I should probably be a lot more surprised or freaked out by the turn of events, but the only thing I'm surprised by right now is how unsurprised I am. I shuffle tiredly into the main area of the coffee shop and sit down, burying my head in my hands.
Are you okay?
Any chance? Yeah, I'm fine.
Really? You've been looking terrible all day. Oh, let me get you something to drink.
Chance hurries around the corner and begins mixing a drink for me. I lean back and take in the smell of the coffee. It's really relaxing.
Here you go.
Don't drink anything. She hands me a hot cup brimming full of hot latte. I take a sip of it, and my body suddenly feels alive again. The smell, the steam, I seriously doubt I'll ever be able to function without this stuff. Take another sip and then another, enjoying the flavor of the heat. I feel like I can finally think. Yes, I'm addicted. That was good. You made it so quickly.
Of course I did. Sometimes things get really busy in here. That counter is designed with everything we need to mix drinks quickly. Of course, if we want to do other things like make sandwiches, that's all in the back kitchen.
Chance looks pretty happy right now. Maybe this is a good time to ask her about the one guy who insulted her. I better find a good way to ask about this, or I might wind up with a latte in my face. I think leading right into it could be a problematic. So let's do you like your job here? So do you like your job here?
Huh? I guess so. Although
I got an
sometimes
award
gets
for it, so I think I
tiring.
did a good thing.
But that's how it is with any job, right?
I guess so. I heard you had a lot of trouble with a certain customer here once.
Oh yeah, that was a particularly bad day. That jerk was just flaunting his new girlfriend in my face.
Oh, so you had a personal connection. That actually makes a little more sense. New girlfriend?
My ex-boyfriend broke up with me here at work by bringing his new girlfriend here and telling me we were over.
That's a pretty crappy way to do it. Man, that guy had some cojones.
He said he didn't want to be with someone who had such unrealistic dreams. Either way, that was a long time ago, and unlike the rumors, it has nothing to do with him insulting my singing voice.
Okay. Wow, I'm sorry about that.
It's fine. It all worked out in the end. Anyway, if you have any more questions, feel free to ask.
Alright. I think we're going to go ahead and stop here for today, because that's a good length, and my gosh, am I intrigued. Thank you for sending this to me. I love it, especially because it's supposed to be pretty quick, so technically I should be like around halfway through. My impression is that we're going to like have this whole resolution here, and like I said, I get the impression that if I don't find enough clues, I might draw the wrong conclusion. I think it's entirely possible to like find the wrong answer. I have no idea how to know if it's right or not. But yeah, this should be really short. I'd say another episode, maybe 2 more. It just depends. But I was told to expect that it's like not terribly long. So we'll see the dramatic conclusion of this next week and then get back to our kind of a regular scheduled show right afterwards. But thank you so much for being here today. Thank you so much again for the developers for sending this to me. I'm glad that you enjoyed my channel enough for me to cover it. I know a lot of it's about, getting word out there for the game, and anyone who's watching this understand, like, I'm not getting kickbacks or anything from this. They gave me a free copy of the game, which is great. But remember, we want to support people who make games like this, because visual novels, story narratives, and like a mystery like this is really fun. And we want to help them understand that we want more games like this. So, if you feel inclined, you want to find the ending for yourself and kind of like sleuth your own way through this story, like, by all means, please buy it, support it. I believe it is on Switch and PS4. I don't know if it's on Xbox. Obviously, it is on PS4 for sure. But yeah, go ahead and give it a look. The title will be in the description and in the title of this episode. But yeah, if you're interested in finding out the ending before I get to the conclusion, please do so. Shout out to anybody who's making games like this. I applaud you. I probably can't play all your games, but I applaud you, and I'm grateful that you're there because I want to have more games like this. So thank you. And yeah, if you like this and you're interested in seeing more content similar to this, check out the rest of my channel. I've got tons of stuff in the backlog. I've been doing this for 3 years now, so I definitely got stuff to keep you busy and running around. If you've never been privy to narrative and visual novels or just haven't experienced very many, I'd highly recommend Mud Love and Steins Gate. They're great places to start. Really long series, but fantastically written. There's plenty of other series I covered though. Some titles that are lesser known, so if you're already familiar with the big hits, check out some of my smaller ones. I recommend things like Seabed, and House of Fata Morgana. That one's actually kind of a bigger one, but it's also a cult classic. I'm finding that a lot of people haven't heard of it or played it, but if they have, they love it. There's plenty to explore on the channel, so I hope you stick around. Thank you so much for being here today. Thanks for joining me on the channel, and until next video watching me, I hope to see me in next. I'll see you there.